This is Team Our Life Captain Alberto Zertuche, and I got a little bit of Storytelling Thursday for y'all today. Today's story evolves back to when I was fishing on Copart Pier. There was a day that we were out there and been introduced to fishing pretty much my whole life. You know, I was about 5 years old when our parents took us out and started teaching us how to watch the rods when they would tip and stuff, warn them that they're getting bites and so forth. But there was one day where we had gotten to the point where we had already bought our own rods and we had two-piece masters with, squid, either pin 109s, pin 209s, and I think pin 209 was probably the biggest we had at that time. And so we're fishing off the Copart Pier, and the guy comes up with some pretty rods, and I was like, wow, I've never seen, colors like that on a fishing rod, and it's a one-piece, not a two-piece, and this guy goes to rigging up, and it was awesome because by then I want to say he had 4/8 HLWs on him. So he's rigging up, and I'm over there and I'm asking him a million questions, and gratefully the guy had a lot of patience and he was answering all my questions and stuff like that. And I sat back, and that was kind of when I was introduced to Harringtons. And Harrington fishing rods around here has been a big shark kind of fishing deal. Harringtons, Harnells, rawhides, you got your Fenwicks and Lima glass and stuff like that. However, for me, the Harrington rod was one of the ones that was the most coveted, and I learned it once I got introduced more into shark fishing. So, the guy had fishing rods then, and I'm telling you, I was young. I was real young. Probably 9, 10, maybe 11 years old at most. And I was sitting back and I was thinking back to myself, I was like, you know what, someday I'm gonna get me some of those rods. Someday I'm gonna work up enough to get me some one-piece fishing rods, because that was the thing too. You always had to maneuver your fishing rods, and then when they would get stuck, you didn't want them getting stuck or whatever, because it was traveling to and from your fishing spot on a bike. But still, that wasn't my frame of thought at that time. Was, well, that 10-foot rod is gonna make it a little more difficult. No, I wanted the coveted title of what they were. And then as I grew into the shark fishing community and stuff like that, seeing what they can do, and just, man, the cast of them was something else. When you went from a cheap rod to one of them, it was a status quo that you have just reached, a higher standard and stuff like that. So I wanted to share a little frame of thought of how I looked at it when I first got into it, and how I wanted to get into it even further. And when I set my goals. Now granted, it took me from that point all the way up until I was 22, out of the Marine Corps, working offshore as a sandblaster painter, to come back to finally get my first set of Harringtons. And it was 3 552s, 2 were identical and 1 was a green one. And I still have them to this day in my collection. Since then I've grown and gotten a lot more and stuff like that, but it was just one of them things, to set a life goal as a kid and follow through and get there. And now that I'm there, I'm still wanting more. I don't know, it's a good fishing addiction to have, I guess, like I said. But at the same time too, at least I know that one day I'll be able to pass them on to my kids. And they're loving fishing, coming and catching fish bigger than them and stuff like that. So it's cool, it's nice to know that they can see what's coming to them, and they can take a lot of pride in it, to knowing that it was their dad's and now it's theirs. And so, I don't know, it's just a little history lesson from what I went through and how I saw myself in the years to come as a young kid evolving into a young man and so forth. So again, y'all have a good one. We're almost to the 2750 mark. It's coming, and we got some deals. Next video or two, I'll be showing you how to win them. I just waiting on confirmation on some tracking numbers. There you go. All right, guys, y'all have a good one.